For Batman Rise of Sin Tzu, there is a story mode, so completing that will mean we beat this game. When you start, you have the option to pick between Batman, Robin, Batgirl, or Nightwing. The characters each play a little different, but the story is the same no matter who you use. I chose to play as Batman because why not? It's a Batman game. The game starts off with a cutscene that shows Sin Tzu, and he's talking about his evil plan, sort of. And then you go into the first level playing as Batman. It gives you a story of how his parents died, and then you jump into the level. This game plays as a beat 'em up, and you can combine quick attacks and power attacks to take out each enemy. In each level, you have to do something like save civilians, defuse bombs, take out enemy like gauntlets. There's a few different things throughout the game. The worst part of this is everything is timed, and if you don't make it, then you lose one of your 4 lives. Each level is broken into 2 parts. Once you get to the second part, it acts as a checkpoint, and this will become super helpful later on. When taking out enemies they have a chance to drop health, combo meter increase, extra lives, or smoke pellets. Once you finish the level, you're given XP points, and you can unlock stronger combos or new items to use, as well as different abilities, and also some silver coins that unlocks trophies, but we didn't really fiddle with that too much. After this level, there's a big breakout of Arkham Asylum, and you start the next level. It's more of the same, but the enemies can cause you to hallucinate now, and they turn into like scarecrow creature monster things. After this level, Scarecrow tells you that he's gonna end Batman, and you chase after him. The next level was the first time I lost, and this would just be the beginning of this happening to me. After you finish the level, you fight Scarecrow. This boss fight is pretty easy. He has these ghost attacks in a green mist, and you eventually just find him and beat him down. This was pretty easy. We almost let Scarecrow die, though. We were going to let him hang, and then we cut him down with a batarang. The next level is a little different because you're disarming bombs in this one, but it's the same thing, time limit idea. If you don't get there, you lose lives. In this level, we fight these guys that shoot meatballs at us. We were having a blast during the stream talking about just these enemies shooting meatballs. Once you finish the level, Clayface tells you that he's going to defeat Batman and says he's going to turn everyone into clay people. This level's a little bit harder, but eventually you get to Clayface for his boss fight. This boss fight is challenging until you figure out what to do. At the beginning of the fight, you have to throw your batarang at these electric things, and once you hit each one 3 times, it shocks Clayface. And then you just go over and beat him up. After that, he tries to smash you with hammers, and then he summons a bunch of meatball people to attack you.
Gloat now, Batman. But by dawn, he will have conquered Gotham City.
Who? Who's behind this?
Then we get a cutscene where Clayface gets knocked out, and Sin Tzu calls Batman like, "Hey babe, you want to go on a date?" Now we're fighting on the docks. I found out in this level that none of the enemies in this game know how to swim, so you can just kick them into the water. This level was actually pretty challenging, but once you finish it, Sin Tzu calls you and tells you that there's a cargo ship and it has a weapon of mass destruction on it. And you drive that boat right to the Batcave. Don't know why. On your way there, you have to do this massive enemy gauntlet. This is the largest one in the game, but it's different. It makes it different from all the other missions. It's still timed though. Once you finish that, you get into the Batcave, and we have to protect these 3 doors that lead further into the Batcave. Once you figure out this pattern, though, it's actually pretty easy. I did die a couple of times just because I didn't know which door they were coming to. Batman begins checking the crates and finds skeletons inside, and Bane explodes out of one and tells you that he's in fact is ripped as a weapon of mass destruction. This boss fight is my favorite, but pretty simple. Bane charges you, you have to dodge out of the way, and he'll run into the wall. He gets stunned, and then you come over and just beat him up until like his frames change, and then you just do the same thing. Once you defeat him once, you have to defeat him again.
Too easy. Taste my venom.
Feel the power of my venom.
He does the same thing, but this time you beat him up for a little bit. He drops stalactites from the ceiling. These have health refills or extra lives in them. Once you get his health all the way down, you think about letting him fall into the water to drown, but you save him and headbutt him. Batman says in this cutscene that he will cause him to forget the location of the Batcave. Not really sure how that works. Next is Sin Tzu. Sin Tzu calls you and tells you that you have no idea where he is, and Batman's like, I know you're in Arkham Asylum. This is when the game gets very difficult. I wasn't really using combos until this point, but you have to, or you'll either die or run out of time. The enemies just have too much health. When your combo meter is all the way up, you can perform really strong attacks, and that lets you get through the level without dying a bunch of times. With this newfound ability, we're able to complete the level. In all levels, you can throw objects laying around, and some will even explode and take out multiple enemies. We finally saved the last civilian, and I was so relieved. Next, we get a call from Commissioner Gordon, and they talk about superpowers together, make dinner plans. In this level, you start dealing with a power that causes your controls to get reversed. This is super difficult and extremely frustrating. At this point in time, I didn't realize that if you just blocked, that they would still do damage to you, but you wouldn't get the reverse controls effect. So it made my time with this level way more difficult than it had to be. Next, we arrive at the Super Villains Museum and say hello to all our friends like Poison Ivy, Mr. Freeze, Harley Quinn, and the Joker. The next level is more of the same, but it's just more difficult. There's these guys with claws that if you let them attack you, they basically do your entire health bar. So you really can't afford to be hit by them. Once the level is done, you meet up with Sin Tzu, and he's like, hey, it's boss battle time. And he fights you in this like weird prison torture place. This boss fight is pretty annoying. You can only do damage with those power combo hits that I previously mentioned. And you have to build it up by attacking him. Once you hit him a few times, he does this attack that reverses your controls and summons some minions. These guys were gold. Sin Tzu has this kick attack that does 4 attacks as one, and you have to dodge all 4, and it will allow you to get some free hits in on him. After repeating this for a while, we got to the final hit, and he loses his power to command his army. Batman has saved the day.
Save a sweet victory now, or there will be another day. Don't count.
Commissioner Gordon meets up with you and tells you that you're great. The game tells you to play on a higher difficulty and gives you alternate costumes for the characters. Then the credits roll. This is our first set of credits out of the games we've played so far. So that was Batman Rise of Sin Tzu, and honestly, it's not that bad of a game. It's brutal, and it doesn't tell you how to deal or do certain things, but it does add to the challenge. I probably wouldn't recommend this, though, because there's way better Batman experiences out there. So I'd probably just play something newer. But that's Batman. So stick around if you want to know what the next game is. But if not, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bad boy. And we have 567 left out of 573. So because I right? Yeah. So we will find out what is next on our GameCube list here in 1, 2, 3. 97. What is 97 on this list? Dave Mira Freestyle BMX 2.